Hello. Hey, thanks for watching. I am Tia Hopper, for those of you who don't know me, with Tia Hopper Consulting. And I wanted today talk about something that I just keep getting asked about, especially I think with it being the beginning of a year. I think we start to, think more about our goals and just who we are, what we're doing. And so personal branding just keeps coming up. And for some, that may be something you're familiar with. For some, that may be something you've never even heard of. And I know for many, the thought of having a personal brand is just kind of crazy and mind-boggling. But the truth is that regardless of if you are aware of it or not, you have a personal brand, right? And if you aren't aware of it, then chances are that maybe your personal brand isn't strong or isn't what you want it to be because you've not given it any thought. So what is personal branding? Personal branding is not, first of all, necessarily what you think of yourself. While that matters for sure, personal branding is what others think of you, their perception of you. So just like a business's brand, when you think of a certain business or a company or an organization, their brand is whatever comes to mind, what feelings and thoughts that you get. And so we're, as people, the same way. And so it's really important that you know what your personal brand is. And secondly, that you know how to communicate it effectively, because you may have a really good idea of what your personal brand is or what you want it to be, but if you're not able to share that and others are perceiving you differently than how you want to be perceived, then you don't have a strong brand. So every single thing that you post on social media, everything that you say, everything you put out into the universe is going to help people form those opinions of you and who you are, and that's what forms their perception of you and essentially your personal brand. So again, it goes back to knowing what you want your personal brand to be and knowing how to put that out there. So why does personal branding matter? It matters because people are attracted to people. Even in this world of everything being digital and being online and less human interaction, at the end of the day, we're still attracted to people. That's what makes us feel good. That's what makes us thrive. And it's that human interaction that really drives social media in the first place. So we're attracted to people. We're not just attracted to anybody. We're attracted to genuine people, and we're attracted to people like ourselves. Those people that we share values with, we have shared values or interests with. And so that's where this whole notion of attraction marketing comes in. If you've heard of that, that's another kind of big buzzword this year. Is attraction marketing is attracting people that are like us, attracting people that we want to do business with, people that want to do business with us. And it's important because it makes things really easy. I mean, if you're a business owner and you can have a strong sense of your personal brand and your business brand and do marketing in a way that's going to bring you the right clients and the right customers, that makes life easier. It also just makes it more fun. Like, I want to work with people I enjoy to work with. I want to spend time with people I enjoy being around. So that's the whole notion of attraction marketing, and again, why branding is so important, because you can't attract people to you if you don't know who you are and what values you have. So think of this. So the first thing, let's say you find out about somebody. Maybe you're thinking about hiring them to do a job. Maybe it's a doctor you're thinking about going to. The very first thing you do is you Google them. And find out more information about them. And maybe you go to their website, maybe you go to their LinkedIn page, maybe you go to their Facebook page. But that's the very first thing that we do. So that's why it's so important to have a strong brand, a strong personal brand, so that when people go to your profiles or go to your page, they know who you are, and then they can decide, do I want to move forward with this relationship, whether it's doing business with you or reaching out to you or maybe sending a lead to you. So that's why this is so important. And it's also important to make sure that the personal brand that you're putting out there, that you're developing, that you're posting about and sharing, actually matches who you are. I've had this happen to me where I've met someone online, because that's our first impression of people now. Like it or not, for the most of the time, our first impression is formed of someone online and the persona that they've created. And so I've met someone online and had this conversation, and you think you know them. And that's when you're really being great, by the way, at attraction marketing, is when you are able through what you're sharing out there, people feel like they really know you. That's why authenticity is so big right now. If you can go out there and share who you are, with just no apologies, and that's when you're really going to attract people to you. But anyway, back to my example, then you meet them and it's like, oh, that is not who I thought they were. Then you have a problem, because you want that to match. So what you're putting out there is a true representation of who you are. So how do you develop your personal brand? It's actually pretty easy. It doesn't take a lot of time. It just takes a little bit of, I think, quiet time and soul searching. So what you want to do is basically write down the words that you think describe you, words that you want to describe you. If someone was talking about you, what would you want them to say? So this kind of blends that who you are and who you want to be. Write down your core values, what's important to you, and just free fall, like write down as many things as you can. Get it all out there on paper. At this point, there's no bad ideas. And then, depending on kind of who you are and your personality, you can kind of, let that just sit for a while and come back to it. Or right then, after you've made your list, you can go through and you want to pick your top 5. You want to pick your top 5 values, or the things that are most important to you, that you think define you or describe you. And essentially, those are the 5 things that you want to be posting about on social media. If you have a website, maybe those are the 5 things in your about, that you talk about. But as people, we really need consistency. Like, we need to see the same things over and over again to form those opinions. And so those are the 5 things you want to post about. That's going to help people understand who you are and what's important to you. And those are going to be the 5 pillars of your personal brand. Now, let me say that when I did this exercise for the first time, as a person, as just me as an individual, Tia Hopper, I almost at first felt like it was going to be limiting. Like, oh, well, I'm so much more than 5 things. And I love social media, and I don't want to have to only post about 5 things. But what I have found is that anything that's really important to me that I'm going to be posting about is going to fall into one of those 5 things. But that's going to make sure that your branding is on point and that others really start to identify who you are. So you should be able to walk up to them, and if they're Facebook friends with you, they should be able to tell you, who you are and what's important to you. And so that's how we'd go through that exercise. Those are things that you post about, allows you to be consistent, allows others to know your brand. And then the same thing applies to businesses. I'm talking about personal branding today, but I have to at least say this here as we wrap up. The same thing applies to a business. So if you're a business owner and you have a business, or if you're a marketing person and you're working for a business, and actually all of your employees should know your brand, should know your values, should know what you represent, and also be able to communicate effectively. And as a brand, as a company, if you're not able to do that, then you need to go back to the drawing board and do a similar exercise. You've probably heard of brand boards or messaging docs, but everyone that works with you, works with your company, needs to be able to, clearly identify what the company stands for and what it means. That's going to ensure that other people in the community, the public, also has a clear understanding of what you do and what you offer as a business. And so that's essentially branding in a nutshell. But as I said, I think it's just becoming more important this year as we, all kind of have this sense of awareness and want to make sure that we're using social media effectively. And I'll kind of leave you with this example. I mean, I think, let's say you're doing business with someone. Let's say it's where you get your hair cut. You may pick a hairdresser based on their location, based on someone said they were good, based on how much they cost. But if you find a hairdresser through a friend or your kid's parent or something that is just as good, also centrally located to you and charges the same, but you have that shared value, then you are going to go do business with them. I mean, you're attracted to people that are like you, to people that you feel like you have something in common with, that shared passion. So that's why it's so important from a business standpoint, and just as a life standpoint, to be able to connect with people and to really put out there who you are and be true to that. So that's it. Personal branding in a nutshell. It's one of my favorite topics. I thought I'd share on that. If you have any questions or comments or want to add to it, I'd love to hear what you think. If this was helpful, let me know. You can leave a comment. And if anybody needs help with branding, reach out to me. I would love to help you with your branding, whether that's personal or business. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.